Hi, welcome to Indie Insights. I'm your host, Dirk Norris, and while Alex and Lauren are changing reels, we're going to be talking with another New Mexico independent filmmaker here, and your writer-director, Michael Perez. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we're talking a little bit about older movies, newer movies, black and white versus color, Ed Wood versus good movies. So we were talking earlier, and you had some comments about Ed Wood and kind of his style of doing things.
Yeah, I really, you know, as crazy and as bad as his movies can be, I have a lot of respect for Ed Wood because he didn't conform to anybody's rules. He wanted to do what he wanted to do and make films how he wanted to make it. It was art to him. It was how he spoke. It was his life, and people respect him. He has a lot of cult followers. People still to this day talk about him, and I think that's a passion that should be carried over into modern filmmakers. You know, a lot of times where, you know, Hollywood standards is something you hear about, and I think with independent filmmakers is we get to step outside of the box. We get to do what we want to do, and it doesn't always conform to what other people want, and that way we get so many beautiful experimental movies, you know, so many different ways to tell stories, and I love that. Films are entertainment, and I like that, and I thought Ed Wood did a great job at doing that.
I think if you're going to be in this business, especially if you're an independent filmmaker, you have to have the passion for it. Otherwise, you're not going to last very long.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Passion is huge in indie filmmaking. I mean, we're working on a tight budget. We're working on limited resources. So passion is the key resource in filmmaking, independent filmmaking, and you know.
Yeah, and some of the the films of yesteryear, they didn't have to worry about finding money coming out of the studios. They're financed. You, as an independent filmmaker, have to do crowdfunding or schlepping or whatever it is you have to do to get the money for your film. Your film, Big Mistake, you did on a budget of $15,000. Yeah,
we shot it for $15,000, and you mentioned that one of my biggest influences, and it is a noir film, and the noir genre was a huge influence to me because those were films made during an era where Hollywood and they didn't have money, so they had to make creative stories on a low budget. You know, creative lighting. It's all about the story, and that really inspired me as a filmmaker. And I think it was a major inspiration for me and the film.
Is there a particular style you shoot in? Is there are you after a particular look with your films?
No, I mean, like, I love all different looks of different films. I mean, I think what fits the story is best for the look of the film. I mean, I'm very heavily influenced by people like Christopher Nolan and Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese, Alfred Hitchcock, you know, I mean, all through the spectrum of filmmakers. So I feel your style should match what you feel is right for the story. Mm-hmm. So while I might have my own style, my style might differ from another director's completely, but I'm happy with that. And if I entertain my audience, that's all I care about. That's what matters to me. But
you'd like a little return on your investment as well.
Oh, absolutely. You got to make money so you can continue to make movies.
Right, right. Otherwise, you're set with this couch and this chair for pretty much the rest of your life.
Right, absolutely, right? Absolutely. But I'd love to not necessarily. I take influence from them, but I want to be my own director. I want to tell my stories my way, and I hope that people like it enough that I can make money and to continue to make more films, because that's ultimately what we want to do.
Right, right. Yeah, I think it gets in your DNA. You're a filmmaker, and that's, yeah. And you came up from Las Cruces. You grew up in Las Cruces?
Yes, born in El Paso, raised in Las Cruces, did the military for a couple of years, and then when I got out, I just couldn't leave New Mexico, and I came up here to Albuquerque.
Oh, that's right. You're a squid, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. 7 years.
Yeah, I'm Coast Guard days myself.
Yeah. Remember Coasties.
Right. How would you characterize briefly the kind of the independent scene here in Albuquerque now?
Oh, I love it. It's so broad. There's so many filmmakers. I'm always like being told, have you met this person? I'm like, no, I haven't. I'd love to meet them, because there's so many passionate people who have their own passionate style. I love like the 48s. There's dozens and dozens of film teams, and all these people want to work with each other. And I think it's great. You see different filmmakers with different styles, and it's wonderful. The passion in this town is amazing.
It's terrific. Well, I thank you so much, Michael, for being on the show today. You've been listening to Indie Insight, and we're going to be back next week with another guest. I think Lauren and Alex have got things all straightened out, so back to the movie.